Tonight on Silent Fame, 10 on-screen gay couples who didn't just sell a romance, they made the world believe it was real. The kisses looked too honest, the stares lasted too long, and the just friends interviews only poured gasoline on the rumors. But was it true love or perfectly crafted fan service? Stay until the end, because the real story isn't the ship. It's the pressure behind it. 1. Heath Ledger x Jake Gyllenhaal, Brokeback Mountain, HTGAWM. On screen, their love didn't feel performed. It felt survived. The heat wasn't glossy. It was dangerous. Hands that hesitate, mouths that crash together like they're stealing oxygen, then the softest aftershock. A forehead touch, a half smile, a look that says, "I hate that I need you." That's why audiences walked out shaken. Ennis and Jack weren't cute. They were a secret with teeth. Here's the detail most people miss. Off camera, the bond wasn't just co-stars being friendly. Jake later described what they shared as something rooted in a profound love and deep respect, especially because Heath treated the story like it wasn't entertainment, it was truth. And when Hollywood tried to turn that truth into a punchline, Heath allegedly drew a line. Jake recalled that the Oscars wanted to joke about Brokeback, and Heath refused, saying, "It's not a joke to me." That one moment becomes gasoline for the fandom. If it wasn't a joke to him, then what was it? Now add the Silent Fame curse, award season pressure, masculinity policing, and the industry fear of being typed. The more believable the chemistry, the more the public demands a label. Confirm anything and you're branded forever. Deny too hard and you're called fake. Stay quiet and the internet writes the romance for you. And because this was a queer love story in a hostile era, the rumor machine had a feast. Was it real? Was it PR? Were they protecting careers? To be clear, there's no confirmed real-life romance. But the tension lives in the gray zone, where a performance is so honest it starts a war in people's heads. So what do you think? Real feelings? Or two actors who burned so bright it fooled the world? Drop your verdict in the comments. Real or movie magic? And tell me which couple is your number one. Then subscribe to Silent Fame for the next chapters. 2. Cameron Monaghan x Noel Fisher, Shameless US, Ian Mickey, Gallavich. Ian and Mickey are the definition of toxic heat turned into holy devotion. On screen, it's sweat, rage, hunger. Then suddenly the sweetest thing, Mickey looking at Ian like he's the only quiet place left on Earth. Their love scenes hit because they're not pretty. They're earned. It's bruised tenderness. It's, "I don't know how to love you, but I'm doing it anyway." Now the secret sauce behind the ship. The show didn't just benefit from Gallavich, it fed it. When fans were starving for Ian Mickey content, Showtime literally packaged inside look extras. A Gallavich webisode built from never-before-seen interview footage mixed with fan-favorite moments, designed to feel like you're being let into the relationship's private room. That's not an accident. That's fan service with a marketing budget. And the actors understood the obsession. Noel Fisher has talked about how intense the connection was, calling it a unique experience to portray a love story that struck such a chord, and how often people told him it mattered to them personally. Meanwhile, Cameron's return to the show later was openly described as a mix of creative plus business realities, because TV love stories aren't just art, they're economics. So when fans scream they have to be real, here's the uncomfortable question. Did the couple feel real because the actors were in love? Or because the machine learned exactly what fans would replay forever? And here's the drama hook for your comments. If their chemistry is that convincing, does it create pressure to prove something off screen? Or are fans crossing the line by demanding receipts? Your turn. Were Cameron and Noel a real-life love story being protected, or the best example of chemistry plus smart fan service? Comment real or service, and tell me your favorite Gallavich moment. Subscribe to Silent Fame if you want part 2. 3. Gale Harold x Randy Harrison, queer as folk US, Brian Justin. Before shipping became a sport, queer as folk was already a battlefield. Brian and Justin weren't a couple. They were a cultural explosion. On screen, it's temptation and dominance and devotion, all tangled up. The way Brian acts untouchable, then melts in tiny cracks. And Justin answers with that fearless, worshipping gaze. The heat is bold, but the sweetness is the real dagger. Those moments where the world disappears and it's just them. Now, the behind-the-scenes detail that makes it even wilder. The show didn't ease them in gently. In cast interviews, Gale has described how exposed it felt shooting those early intimate scenes. Under a microscope, intense, terrifying, and adrenaline-charged. That kind of pressure can either break chemistry or fuse it into something unforgettable. And here's the Silent Fame secret most casual viewers don't know. The cast wasn't just dealing with fame, they were dealing with being used as symbols. In a major advocate piece, Randy talked about learning the hard way that press, advertisers, corporations, even communities will try to skew you into an agenda, and you have to keep realigning your perspective to protect your soul. So when fans pushed Brian Justin into real life, it wasn't just gossip. It was pressure. Because once you become the face of something, people start acting like they own your identity. Which is why the rumor question gets messy. Was there something real off camera? There's no confirmation. But the show's impact plus their chemistry created the perfect storm where fans wanted it to be true. Because if it's true, the fantasy doesn't end. So let's argue respectfully. Did Gale and Randy feel real because they were that good, or because the era was starving for a love story that honest? Comment your vote, real or iconic acting, and tell me which couple is your under one. If you want the next couples, subscribe to Silent Fame and drop your favorite ship below. 4. Jack Falahy x Conrad Ricamora, How to Get Away with Murder, Connor Shar Oliver. Colliver. Colliver is the kind of couple that starts with a spark and somehow turns into a fire you can't put out. On screen, it wasn't just a gay romance, it was a collision. Connor, sharp and defensive, trying to win every room, and Oliver, soft on the surface but stubborn enough to hold him in place. Their hottest scenes work because they don't feel choreographed. They feel like two people making a mistake they can't stop repeating, until the mistake becomes love. Here's the part that always hooks viewers. Early on, they weren't even guaranteed endgame. This wasn't a neat fairy tale plan. It was more like, let's see if this chemistry survives the audience. And it did. So hard that the relationship didn't just become popular, it became a pillar of the show. That's why fans get conspiratorial. If the writers leaned into it because the vibe was real, does that mean something real was happening off camera too? Now, the off-screen service was subtle but deadly effective. They didn't do corny couple branding. They did the stuff that feels intimate. The warm glances during press, the quiet respect in how they spoke about each other's work, the "we've been through something together" energy that makes fans spiral. And then comes the quote that basically launched 1,000 edits. Jack calling Conrad one of the loves of my life. That line hits like a confession. Until you remember, Hollywood friendship language can be deep, and sometimes it's the only safe way to express it publicly. But here's the real drama. When you play a queer love story on a giant stage, the public stops seeing you as an actor and starts seeing you as a symbol. Suddenly, Every smile is proof. Every distance is a breakup. Fans start demanding receipts. And if you don't feed the ship, people accuse you of being cold. If you do feed it, people accuse you of manufacturing it. That pressure can mess with your head because your real relationships, your identity, your boundaries become content. So, what do you believe? A pure friendship that fans romanticized, or a bond so intense it blurred lines and they chose privacy? 5. Kit Connor x Joe Locke, Heartstopper, Nick Charlie. This couple hurts in the best way. On screen, Nick and Charlie aren't loud hot. They're quiet hot. The kind of intimacy that shows up in tiny details. A breath held too long. A hand hovering before it finally lands. A kiss that feels less like a scene and more like permission to exist. That softness is exactly why people got addicted. And it's exactly why the fandom pressure turned brutal. Because the secret behind Heartstopper isn't hidden romance. It's hidden damage. The internet didn't just ship the characters, it started putting the actors on trial. Strangers decided they were owed a label, a confession, a real-life love story. Kit got hit with non-stop speculation and accusations, and eventually he said he felt forced to come out publicly as bisexual. That's not cute fandom drama. That's a real human being cornered into sharing something personal to stop the noise. And the darkest irony? The show is literally about consent, boundaries, and letting people come out in their own time. But real life did the opposite. Fans turned a comfort story into a pressure cooker. Every interview clip got slowed down. Every glance got decoded. Every time Kit or Joe looked close, it became evidence. Every time they didn't, it became they're hiding. That's a psychological trap. Whatever you do, you lose. Here's the debate that will light up your comments. If two young actors have that kind of chemistry, do fans have the right to fantasize out loud? Or does that cross into entitlement, especially when it can literally push someone into revealing their identity before they're ready? And if the pressure is that intense, does it make them less likely to be open about anything real in the future? Because openness becomes a weapon? So yeah, on screen it's sweetness, but off screen it's a warning label. Sometimes the loudest support still hurts. Tell me in the comments, shipping is harmless or shipping crosses a line? Where do you draw the line? 6. Nicholas Galitzine x Taylor Zachar Perez, red, white, and royal blue, Henry, Jake, and Alex. Henry and Alex are pure fantasy with the blade hidden inside. On screen, the romance is hot because it's forbidden. Palace walls, secret messages, stolen nights, the sense that one wrong step could destroy everything. But what really sells it is the emotional contrast. Alex is all heat and confidence, while Henry feels like he's been trained to hide every feeling until Alex cracks the lock. When Henry finally gives in, it doesn't feel like acting. It feels like a man choosing love over fear. Then the press tour happened, and the ship took off like a rocket. Because their off-screen vibe was exactly what fandom feeds on. Warmth, playful energy, that we're weirdly comfortable together chemistry that makes fans say, this isn't just coworkers. And when that happens, the industry notices. Service becomes a strategy. Interviews together, inside jokes, matching energy, the kind of closeness that keeps clips circulating for months. Not because it's fake, but because marketing loves anything that looks real. Here's where the drama gets spicy. The internet started demanding sexuality labels, like chemistry on a movie set is an invitation to interrogate someone's identity. Taylor actually pushed back publicly on that kind of questioning, calling out how invasive it is to force actors into boxes. That's the silent fame pressure. If you're too convincing, people decide you must explain yourself. And Nick later spoke about identifying as straight while also acknowledging how complicated it can feel taking queer roles, how public commentary can turn you into an object, a debate, a headline. So what's the secret here? Not a hidden relationship, a hidden tension. Two actors delivering a queer love story while the world tries to turn them into a real couple for entertainment. If they're affectionate, people scream dating. If they set boundaries, people scream PR. And in the middle is a real question. How much of their closeness is genuine friendship? And how much is the unavoidable performance of being on display? 7. Edvin Riding, ex-Omar Rudberg, Young Royals, Wilhelm Simon, Wilmon. On screen, Wilhelm and Simon don't just kiss, they collide. It's the kind of intimacy that feels illegal in daylight. A prince trained to hide everything, melting the second Simon gets close. Simon loving him, but refusing to shrink for him. The heat is real because it's wrapped in fear. Secret hallways, shaky breath, that if they find out, it's overtension that makes every touch feel like a risk. Now the silent fame twist. The show's biggest pain point, no privacy, didn't stay in the script. When the series blew up, Edvin literally talked about crying in bed after reading the first reactions. Then, later, taking a break from social media because it got so intense. That's the curse. Play a character whose life is owned by the public. And suddenly, your life starts to feel the same. And fans? They ate up every crumb. Their press moments were gold. Chaotic energy, inside jokes, the kind of comfortable closeness that makes the internet whisper. That's not just coworkers. In interviews, they even joked about fans calling them hot, while admitting there's also a darker side. People being weird, bitter, invasive. Here's the secret that hooks. Teen Vogue captured how the story mirrors real pressure. Simon's identity basically gets controlled, like he's not allowed to post or comment, and he worries he'll have to delete himself just to stay with Wilhelm. Tell me that doesn't sound like celebrity life. Be lovable, be mysterious, but don't be too real. So what's the truth? A real romance hiding in plain sight, or a friendship forged under fire that fans turned into a love story because they wanted the fantasy to be real? Comment Team Real or Team Friends, and tell me, did Wilman feel too true to be acting? Don't forget to subscribe to Silent Fame. We're not done. 8. Brightwin X-Win Metawin, Together, Still Together, Sarawat Tine. On screen, Sarawat and Tyne are pure addictive comfort. Fake boyfriend flirting that turns into real soft devotion. The kind where a simple smile feels like foreplay. The heat isn't explicit. It's in the teasing, the jealousy, the I'm acting unless you want me to stop acting. That's why fans didn't just ship them. Fans built a whole universe around them, and the timing made it explode. During the pandemic era, Together became a breakout hit. Pulling in massive views and international fandom, BL wasn't niche anymore, it was global. Netflix's own description says the whole plot is literally pretend relationship until the act turns to reality. That premise is basically a shipper's trap. Once people fall for it on screen, they start hunting for it off-screen. Then came the real-world service. Live interviews, global fan Q&As, and events built to keep the couple feel alive. Like Brightwin doing a major live interview aimed at international fans, taking questions that fans posted online. It's not necessarily fake, it's business. The BL industry knows one truth. If the ship sails, the numbers follow. Now the heartbreak starts drama. In 2024, Bright confirmed he was dating singer-actress Nini after rumors and public sightings. News outlets reported the confirmation, and fans immediately split into camps. And that's when the comment wars really start. If Brightwin was real, why did reality look different? If it was just PR, why did it feel so personal to millions? Maybe the real tragedy isn't who dated who. It's the pressure. When a fandom treats your friendship like a contract, every boundary looks like betrayal. So tell me, were Bright and Win a real connection trapped inside marketing, or a perfect on-screen fantasy that the internet refused to let end? Drop your pick. Brightwin Saturs real, yes or no? And comment, which couple is number one for you so far? Then subscribe to Silent Fame for the next chapter. 9. Mew Supposite, ex-Golf Kanawat. TharnType, TharnType. On screen, TharnType wasn't cute BL. It was heat with a bruise under it. A hate-to-love story that played like a storm. Jealousy, obsession, skin-on-skin tension. Then those quiet moments where the anger collapses into need. Their chemistry felt so physical that fans didn't just ship it. They treated it like a confession caught on camera. Then the real-life machine kicked in. Fan meetings, interviews, inside jokes, couple-style promos. The BL industry's favorite magic trick. Sell the fantasy without ever saying the words. Suddenly, every smile became proof. Every distance became breakup, and silence became the loudest headline. The fandom didn't just watch them, people audited them. Here's the tragedy that keeps this story sticky. When a ship gets too big, it stops being fun. It becomes pressure. Mew has publicly spoken about hitting burnout from overworking and getting professional help. Because fame doesn't just take your time, it takes your nervous system. And while fans kept begging for the real relationship, their careers were moving forward in real directions. Separate projects, separate paths, and a public that couldn't accept that love on screen can be real without being romantic off screen. And the silent fame twist? Years later, Mew publicly confirmed a relationship with someone else and even announced an engagement. Exactly the kind of reality check that makes a ship explode into comment war chaos. That's where the debate turns brutal. Were they ever anything more than fan service? Or did they feel something, then choose survival over confession? No matter what you believe, one thing is undeniable. This ship taught the world how easily fans can turn into judges, and how quickly support can become a cage. So I'm asking you straight, real love or perfectly engineered fantasy? Comment real or fan service, and tell me what moment made you believe. 10. Om Pawat X Nanong Korapat, Bad Buddy Pat Siopran. On screen, Bad Buddy hit like a heartbreak you didn't see coming. The tension wasn't just attraction, it was years of rivalry turning into surrender. Pat and Pran didn't fall in love politely. They fought it, teased it, denied it, until the love looked like a wound opening in public. The kisses felt dangerous because the story wasn't about lust. It was about two boys realizing they might lose everything if they're honest. Off-screen, fans wanted the same miracle. If it's this real on camera, it has to be real in life. And for a while, their public dynamic fed the obsession. Warm interviews, playful closeness, that best friend soulmate vibe that shippers live for. Media even described them as genuinely close friends in real life. Teen Vogue framed their bond as something bigger than a ship. A friendship that moved people because it felt safe and sincere. But here's the hard part. The part that turns sweet into tragedy. When millions decide your friendship is a romance, you lose the right to be normal. Every interaction gets weaponized. If you joke, it's dating. If you set boundaries, it's PR. If you stop appearing together, it becomes a rumor factory. And then the headline that cracked the fandom, their agency announced they would cease work as a pair. No soap opera explanation, no public mess, just a clean cut that left fans screaming into the comments. Was it pressure? Was it hate? Was it the cost of being shipped too hard? The silence is what makes it devastating, because the internet always fills silence with the worst story. So, let's close today's episode with the real lesson. Love stories can be life-changing without being real life. You can be moved, healed, inspired, while still respecting that actors are human beings, not characters we own. If you've ever felt pressured to hide who you are, let this be your reminder. You don't owe anyone your truth on their schedule. Protect your peace, find your people, choose your timing. So, which couple fooled you the most, and which one broke your heart when reality hit? Maybe the real lesson is this. Chemistry can be real without becoming a real-life relationship, and nobody owes the internet a label on demand. If this hit close to home, you're not alone. Drop your number one couple in the comments, keep it respectful, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Silent Fame for the next episode.